For a long time, Marvel has been reinventing what it means to be successful in movies and comic books. Fans couldn't get enough of Marvel's enormous array of renowned heroes or the incredibly scary villains they battled almost from the moment the Marvel Universe broke onto the scene in the Silver Age. Marvel characters have left a lasting imprint on pop culture, making them some of the most successful modern success stories. In this video, we'll travel back in time to examine the emergence of Marvel superheroes, taking into account films, television programs, and comic characters. Before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. 1939 to 1950. Captain America. As Captain America, Steve Rogers wields a virtually unbreakable shield made of vibranium, a rare Wakandan metal. The shield, created by brilliant inventor Howard Stark during World War II, is a finely balanced instrument capable of withstanding extreme stress and damage, while simultaneously being hurled as an attacking weapon that returns to its owner. After recovering the shield from the wreckage of the Red Skull's jet, Rogers keeps it as a constant companion, since it has become a symbol of power to those who know Captain America as the country's protector. Rogers is also proficient with firearms, but he seldom uses them in modern times. Since the 1940s, his iconic Captain America costume and helmet have been modified several times, providing him with some protection from the weather, as well as adversaries. 1950 to 1960. The Punisher. It isn't what you believe. It's vital to clarify that the Netflix series starring John Bernthal as Frank Castle is not a glorification of fascist violence, now that the Punisher and his skull emblem have been adopted by cops and military across the United States. In reality, are soldiers who think they can get away with anything. Here, Frank exacts his wicked revenge on US generals and Blackwater-style mercenaries not just for the harm they've done to him personally, but also for all the innocent families he's slain on their orders in Afghanistan and Iraq. Season 1 in particular shone a bright light on all of the ways in which America discards and abandons its veterans. Frank Castle uncovers a plot that goes beyond New York's criminal underworld, after taking vengeance on those responsible for the murders of his wife and children. Now known as the Punisher, he is on a mission to uncover the truth about injustices that touch more than just him and his family. Billy Russo, the head of the private military firm Anvil and former NSA analyst Micro, who shares similar enemies with Castle and assists him as a part of a so-called marriage of convenience, are assisting the vigilante in his fight against criminals. 1960 to 1970. The Hulk. Dr. Bruce Banner, a bioscience prodigy who collaborated with Dr. Betty Ross in a Virginia University lab, concentrated his major research on the effects of gamma radiation on people. Unbeknownst to both physicians, Dr. Ross's father, General Thunderbolt Ross of the United States Army, diverted Banner's work into a program to create military weapons. Banner sparked a magnificent metamorphosis in himself when he chose to put everything he'd learned to the test on himself, resulting in an enormous, towering figure fueled by his own fury. Banner sneaked away to avoid arrest and investigation by the Army after destroying his lab as the Beast and accidentally wounding Ross in the process, and began a frantic search for a solution to his strange condition. Bruce Banner is an intellectual and brilliant man, but his alter ego, the Hulk, is a fully physical being. The green monster has the rawest strength of any living creature on the planet, with an upper limit that has yet to be completely tested. His leg strength enables him to leap vast distances and land safely, and his skin can withstand damage from powerful weapons, as well as natural and man-made factors. 1970 to 1980. Wolverine. Wolverine is a comic book character whose brash, aggressive demeanor sets the tone for the following anti-establishment superheroes. Writer Len Wein and illustrator John Romita Sr. developed the character for Marvel Comics. Wolverine made his first full appearance in The Incredible Hulk number 181 with razor-sharp claws, the ability to quickly heal practically any damage, and a skeleton strengthened with an unbreakable metal. A fictional character who appears in Marvel Comics' American comic books, primarily in conjunction with the X-Men. He is a mutant with heightened physical powers, animal-like senses, a tremendous regeneration ability as a healing factor, and 3 retractable claws in each hand. Wolverine has been portrayed as a member of the X-Men, X-Force, Alpha Flight, and the Avengers, among other groups. 1980 to 1990. Spider-Man. Peter Benjamin Parker was the son of CIA operatives Richard and Mary Parker, who were assassinated while he was a child. Peter was reared in a humble house in Forest Hills, New York, by his Uncle Ben and Aunt May after his parents died. Peter was bitten by a radioactive spider while still in high school while attending a scientific show in radiography. The bite gave him the proportionate strength and agility of a spider, as well as a spider sense that alerted him of approaching danger. Peter competed in a wrestling match against Crusher Hogan to put his new skills to the test and to earn some money. He easily won the challenge and attracted media attention as a result. After that, Peter witnessed a thief dash by him while backstage, but did nothing to stop him because it wasn't his concern. When Peter returned home later that night, he was informed by a police officer that his Uncle Ben had been murdered by someone who had broken into their home. The officer stated that the killer had been tracked to a warehouse. Peter dressed himself like a wrestler and went for the killer himself, enraged. After effortlessly fighting Uncle Ben's murderer at the warehouse, Peter saw that the burglar he didn't stop at the arena was the same one, thus learning that, with strength, comes tremendous responsibility. 1990 to 2000. Deadpool. Wade Wilson was born into a dysfunctional household in a small town in the state of Ohio as a regular person. As a youngster, he fled away and bounced across the country, receiving military training from various sources until deciding to become a mercenary. When anything went awry with the assignment, he continued changing his identity. He relocated to Canada where he met Wade T. Wilson, a man he would later marry. The name Wade T. Wilson reminded him of his previous self because he was Wade W. Wilson. He unintentionally murdered the target's wife, Mercedes, when he was instructed to assassinate Wade T. Wade T. eventually went away and became the voodoo mercenary T-Ray, but Wade W. maintained the name Wade T. Wilson and never altered it to honor his namesake's wife. 2000 to 2010. Thor, 2011. Thor is the son of Odin, the Asgardian god's Allfather, and Gaia, the older goddess and living embodiment of Earth. Thor was born in a cave in Norway eons ago. Odin took Thor to Asgard after he was weaned and nurtured him to be the god of thunder and successor to the throne. Thor, the Asgardian god of thunder, uses his hammer Mjolnir, which was made from the fabled unbreakable Asgardian metal Uru, to command the thunder, lightning, wind, and all the elements of the storm. Mjolnir grants Thor the ability to fly and aids him in channeling, focusing, and amplifying his divine elemental abilities. Despite the fact that the hammer is extremely hefty by mortal standards, it can only be raised by those judged worthy, regardless of physical strength. Thor got too haughty and stubborn after millennia of protecting Asgard from its foes. Because of this, his father exiled him to Midgard, or Earth, to teach him some much-needed humility. Thor was made mortal and given the shape of a disabled human doctor, Donald Blake, who taught him what it was like to be small and feeble, as well as how to be modest and really noble despite his mortal state. 2010 to 2021. Black Panther. a massive meteorite consisting of the rare metal vibranium crashed down in Wakanda many years ago. Black Panther Bashenga, Wakanda's first king, harnessed the mineral and utilized it to help his country thrive. Wakanda's technical and economic achievements continued to flourish well beyond those of the modern world thousands of years later, under the rule of Black Panther T'Chaka. T'Chaka kept Wakanda hidden from the rest of the world to keep outsiders from manipulating it. Naomi, his first wife, died while giving birth to Prince T'Challa. Years later, a Dutch scientist called Ulysses Claw infiltrated Wakanda, developed a vibranium sound-based weapon, and used it to assassinate King T'Chaka. Prince T'Challa, who was just a kid at the time, was able to use the sound weapon to destroy Claw's right hand. Claw escaped Wakanda, exposing the kingdom to the outside world, and vowed vengeance. T'Challa would eventually become king after beating his uncle, King Sayan, in a once-a-year ritual that permitted any member of Wakandan royalty to become king or queen by defeating the incumbent ruler in hand-to-hand combat. Given the reigning Black Panther's increased and superhuman powers as a result of digesting the Wakanda's heart-shaped herb, an average man's chance of beating a Black Panther was small. T'Challa, on the other hand, was victorious. He also ingested the heart-shaped herb, which granted him superhuman senses as well as increased agility, strength, and overall physical capacity. Which is your favorite Marvel hero? Go to the comments section and let us know your thoughts.